I'm Marie Stella. I'm here from Chesterfield, so I have both a personal and a moral imperative to be here. I've spent hours researching this, and I'm not going to bother to try to talk about the scientific aspects of this. I mean, what should scare everyone is that we are talking about items like sulfur dioxide, nitrous dioxide, particulates, mercury, other chemicals that are in our air on a regular basis, and that the population, where there's no education for people to be afraid of these chemicals and to understand what harm they do. If I look at this problem, and I was really disappointed that it's very hard to get easily accessible historical data on how weather patterns have changed and other things, and that you're really on your own when you're trying to research this, unless you're do this for a living. But if I look at the problem, it's basically three simple things: health, environment, or I'm reducing it to three simple things: health, environment, and economics. I'm going to talk about a personal incident, and I'm 72 years old. I'm relatively healthy. I swim a mile every day, and yet all summer long, I was plagued with asthma-type symptoms that I was almost hospitalized for, and nothing could cure it. No antibiotic. I had to use nebulizers because the air quality was so bad in Chesterfield, thanks to the Chesterfield, in part, the power plant. I'm not alone in this, and there are so many children. In fact, asthma is like a national epidemic in this country, and that Richmond and Chesterfield are an epicenter for it, as in many other places. The cost for helping people with these sicknesses, for the related, I have health care. Many people don't have health care. It's almost impossible to get treated. You see kids all the time that are sick, losing time from school, families being off from work. The costs are astronomical for people that are getting sick from pollutants. Economically, if you just look at states and countries that are doing alternative energy sources, there's no way that it's a boon for the economy. There's jobs, that people are making money, all these companies are doing very well. So I don't want to go over my time here, but if you look at what Dominion and other power plants have to say about these three aspects, they come down to this. Economically, they can't afford it. They've known there's a problem in Chesterfield and the three other big major polluters for years. They have spent millions, maybe billions, on lobbying, on giving money to politicians, on ALEC, on all these other things, but they couldn't fix the problem. And they are so influential in the SEC and other groups to stop regulations and to stop and to increase costs for us. So I don't understand how they can talk about money. I've also read for the last couple of hours about fly ash and all these other chemicals not being harmful. What scientific data backs that up? Because I'm afraid to even put soil into my ground for my garden because there's so many pollutants. And then, of course, there's the most offensive thing that I've read over and over again by that there are no health implications for any of these pollutants. We have got to be realistic about this problem. We've got to look at it. We've got to educate people more. And we've got to support you by going out and insisting there be transparency in what's said, and that's some honesty. But we have got to change before we're all, half the country's underwater. We'll have our own immigration problem because people will be coming to where we live to kind of to get away from the water if we're not swimming ourselves. So we've got to take this seriously. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I will get the first name right. Aaron. Give me your last name.
Such.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Aaron Such, and I'm with an organization called Virginia Sun. But I am speaking as a ratepayer and resident of Virginia. I do live here in Richmond. Appreciate the opportunity to offer my comments, and I wanted to actually give some specific direction as far as some strategy for complying with the Clean Power Plan. I totally support it. I think it doesn't go far enough, but it is a step in the right direction. The specific strategy that I would urge is considering solar distributed generation as the cornerstone of Virginia's act to comply with the Clean Power Plan. Solar distributed generation is basically solar that is generated and used at or near the site. Think of it on your home or on your business. It offers a lot of opportunities. It generates power, as I said, near the source. But besides its obvious environmental attributes, it's uniquely positioned to power Virginians with the right to generate their clean, local electricity that creates jobs and builds resilience into the electricity grid. Most importantly, as a limitless source of local fuel, solar distributed generation reduces our reliance here in the Commonwealth on fossil fuels. The fossil fuels that we rely on, about 55% of them are coal and natural gas. Besides the environmental impacts, which I'm sure have been pretty well expanded upon before me, these are international commodity fuels, meaning that they're subject to volatility based on supply and demand. Who remembers when Dominion raised our rates 4.1% last year because of a natural gas supply issue? Yeah. Well, that's something that's going to happen in the future if we increase our reliance on that. Alternatively, solar distributed generation locks in the price of fuel for decades. You can think of solar as a generator that you put on your roof or your property that has no moving parts, has a free limitless source of fuel, and has a 30-year lifespan. That should be really expanded throughout the state. Not only is it a great generator, it creates local jobs and will help our utility grid transition to a clean, reliable, and equitable grid that serves all of the Commonwealth. Let me just give you a quick example before I wrap up my thoughts about the economic potential. My organization, along with some community partners, started Solarize Harrisonburg, and in less than 1 year, in Harrisonburg, Virginia, 68 people went solar. We put nearly a megawatt or half a megawatt of solar capacity on the grid and did about $1 million worth of retail solar sales that went to a local company out of Waynesboro. So the Clean Power Plan should be a stimulus for success stories like this to empower all Virginians with solar distributed generation as a specific strategy. I appreciate the opportunity to comment.
Okay, John Ray?
Yes. My name is John Ray, and I'm from Dracula County, 2 miles away. I'm 73 years old. I've heard a lot about climate change all my life. Back when I was a kid, I worked in the field. 10 years old. And it was hot as hell. It got 100 degrees 2 months out of the summer. It was hot. You talk about hot now. It was hot as hell. It's not that hot here as it used to be. It is warmer here than it used to be because we used to have ice freeze in Sussex County, which is 50 miles south of here. Early in the fall, and we could ice cream. When I stood wait for the bus, I could crack ice in puddles while waiting for the bus. So I'm not saying there's not climate change. There is definitely climate change, and there's always been climate change in the country. We used to have glaciers out in the Midwest. We used to have giant animals living in the forest, breeding all the millions of years. There's always been climate change, and there always will be climate change. I don't care if we quit burning anything, there'll still be climate change. And anybody says that's wrong, don't understand what's happened on this earth for the last several 100 million years. I mean, it's pure simplicity. Now, that's enough said about that. I am energy efficient. I have built a new home. It's highly energy efficient. It only uses 800 kilowatts average a month. Some months a lot less, because I have 2 sets of solar panels in my yard that have trackers. They're all trackers, and they track the sun, and they're 30% more efficient than ones hanging on the roof or whatever. Now everybody can't put up trackers; they don't have space. But anybody can put them on the roof, and they're not that expensive. You can put solar on your roof cheaper than you can buy yourself a new car, and your new car will never pay for itself. Right now, I pay Dominion Power $7.70 a month, and that's all I pay 12 months a year, and I've been doing it for 3.5 years. Dominion Power gets no money from me except for the use of the net meter that I send my energy to them on and take it back. During the day, I make it, goes on the grid what I don't use. At night, I take it back off the grid. And it's my zero meter, my net meter is below zero, and it's been below zero for 3.5 years. So it's very easy to do. And if you don't want to buy a brand new car every 10 years, you can buy a system that will last. It's guaranteed right now for 25 years. You know, that's it. It's guaranteed for 25 years. What car you go buy for $37,000 is guaranteed for 25 years? None. Now, how many people here, I heard a lot of talk about, you know, saving energy, doing away with carbon, doing all this stuff. How many here have solar power? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So y'all talk a big game here. But you're not doing anything but talking and trying to want everybody to quit using carbon fuels and quit doing this and quit doing that. You're doing nothing but talking. You're doing nothing. We need carbon fuels until we can make energy efficient and everybody can get it at a reasonable price. And you're not going to do it by shutting down all the power plants and doing away with nuclear and doing away with natural gas. Where the hell do you think you're going to get your power? Solar power cannot do it all. You've got to have a generator that you can count on to run when it's raining. You've got to have a generator to count on at night. Solar power will not run at night. It'll only run during the day, and it'll only run during the day when the sun is shining. It will make no energy in the cloudy day. We're making nothing right now on our solar power. Very well. So you think you can go to wind? The wind's the same problem. The wind doesn't blow, you make no power. Only way you can use solar and wind is you've got to have batteries, and they're very expensive. Very expensive. One battery, you know, $500, and they don't last that long. You got to take care of them. So if you think, well, I can put solar panels and put batteries, and I can do away with, you know, all costs. You can't do it. You've got to have power plants that are making efficient energy to control the grid. And that's the only way you can do it. There is no other way. Thank you.